Welcome to 40 Days to Personal Revolution with Om Yoga. This is week 2, and we'll be focusing on vitality in our practice. So join us by getting on your mat and beginning in Child's Pose. Resting your forehead on the mat, hands pressing into the ground, pressing hips back into your heels. Allow yourself to find some space here, maybe rolling the forehead back and forth on the mat. Connecting with the breath. As you inhale, come up to all fours, stacking wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. We'll work through cats and cows. So as you inhale, looking up, drop the belly down. As you exhale, round the spine, tuck your chin. Again, as you inhale, looking up, working tailbone toward the top of the head. As you exhale, working navel towards nose. Taking one more cow on your inhale, exhaling to one more cat. Then tuck your toes under, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Pressing your torso back toward your legs, lifting tailbone up high, heels down low, finding length in the back of the legs, maybe leaning from one side to the other, finding some organic movement here. Bending one knee or the other. Release down. Looking between your hands, step your feet forward. Halfway lift as you exhale, folding forward, grab onto opposite elbows. Ragdoll position. Allowing yourself to sway from side to side. Again, allowing all of the tension to release from the head, the neck, the shoulders, the spine. Maybe interlacing the fingers behind the low back, allowing hands to fall overhead. Release your hands down to the ground, heel toe your feet together. Inhaling, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhaling, fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift, moving head toward the front. Exhaling, fold. As you inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, hands come down to your sides, Utkatasana, tucking shoulders back, hips tucked under. Finding your base. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Stepping back to a high plank position, lower forward and down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhaling back, downward dog. Taking a few breaths here, finding your space, finding stillness in this pose. Again, looking between your hands, walk, hop, jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift, exhaling, fold. Again, inhale, arms come all the way up, reach up. Exhale, hands to your sides, Tadasana. Again, tucking hips under, shoulders go back, squeezing the spine. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, planting the hands. Again, step, hop, jump back to a high plank. Lower forward and down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, lifting. Exhaling, downward dog, move back. Again, pressing torso back toward the legs, lifting tailbone high and heels down low. Allow yourself to find this space. Looking between your hands, bend your knees, hop, walk, jump forward. Halfway lift, exhaling, fold. Inhale, arms come all the way up and bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Allow the corners of your mouths to lift as you sink deep into your hips and lift all 10 toes off the ground. Keep working. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, plant the hands, stepping back to a high plank, lower forward and down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Right leg comes up, stepping it forward, warrior one. Keeping hips square to the front of your mat. Back foot pivots down so the left toes are going to the top left corner of your mat. Drop the shoulders, tuck the tail, and again smile, finding energy in this pose. Squeeze tight. As you exhale, open up, warrior two. Back foot is now parallel to the back of your mat. Right knee peels out toward right pinky toe. Sinking deep into your lunge. Hips stay tucked under, reaching through both arms while allowing the shoulders to drop back. Cartwheel the hands down to the ground, stepping back, Chaturanga. Again, inhale, upward dog, and exhaling, downward dog. Left leg comes up, stepping forward, warrior one. Again, pivoting that back foot down so the right toes are pointing to the top right corner of the mat. Square your hips up, finding the lunge with the squareness in the hips. Again, drop your shoulders, tuck the tail, lift the heart. Keep working. As you exhale, open up, warrior two. Again, back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Left knee peels out toward left pinky toe. Dropping shoulders down the back, hips tucked under. Squeezing heels together, keeping the legs engaged. Nice job. Cartwheel your hands down to the ground, stepping back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Taking a moment here. Allow your hips to lift and heels to fall. Finding your energy, your vitality. Looking between the hands. Again, hop, walk, jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, arms come up. Bend the knees. Utkatasana, chair pose again. Sinking weight down deep into the hips. Feel those quads burn. Lift the heart toward the sky. Tuck the tail. Keep breathing, connecting with that ujjayi breath, that strong inhale and exhale. Finding your fierceness. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, planting the hands, come back to your high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Right leg comes up again. Step it forward, warrior one. Finding this pose a little quicker this time. Square the hips up. Sink low. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Again, back foot is parallel to the back of your mat, really focusing on the openness of the hips. Tuck the hips underneath your shoulders. Lunge a little further forward, and then cartwheel the hands down. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhaling, downward dog. Left leg comes up, stepping forward, warrior one. Again, square up the hips, heels moving inward toward one another. Shoulders drop, heart lifts, as do the corners of your mouth. Open up, warrior two. Left knee peels out toward left pinky toe, tucking hips under. Finding the lunge a little deeper than you did before. Keep working. Cartwheel the hands down to the ground, stepping back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Beautiful. Find your breath. Reconnect to the lungs. Reconnect to this space. Take a few more breaths before lifting right leg up high. Step it forward directly to warrior two this time. Open up. Straighten the front leg, reaching forward and down, triangle pose. Right hand can fall to the ankle, to the ground, to the shin. Lifting left arm up, dropping left shoulder back. Again, tucking tail underneath, squeeze the heels together, just as you would in a warrior or lunge. Find your body in one even plane. Dropping both hands down to the ground, pivot the foot so you're on the ball of the foot. Come up, crescent lunge. Tucking tail underneath, finding the hips low toward the ground. Again, shoulders drop. Staying strong through the back leg, keeping it straight. Beautiful. Both hands come down to the ground, stepping back to a high plank. Center the right hand below the body, Vastisthasana, side plank. Again, left hand comes up toward the sky. Lift your hips up a little higher, finding the height. Engaging the obliques. Gaze comes up to the left fingers. Both hands come back down to the ground. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Left leg comes up. Step it forward directly to warrior two. Again, open up. Find the lunge. Before straightening left leg, reaching forward and down again, triangle pose. Hand can come to the ground, to the ankle, to the shin, dropping right shoulder back to create a little bit more openness in the chest. Again, tucking hips underneath, squeeze the heels together. Staying strong in your frame. Drop both hands down to the ground, rotating on the back toes. Crescent lunge, dropping hips low down to the ground. Lift the heart up. Again, tucking tail underneath. Drop your shoulders. Keep working, finding the energy flow through the body as you find your lunge. Then hands come down to the ground, stepping back. Left hand centers below the body, Utkatasana, side plank. Lift the hips. Maybe working with leg variations, maybe not. Again, find what's best for your practice, your body today. Both hands come down to the ground, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. Nice job lifting hips up high, heels down low. Pressing torso back, spreading the fingers out, pressing through fingertips to protect the wrists. Lower both knees down to the ground, coming up onto the knees. We'll set up for camels. So hands come to the hips, fingers pointing down, pressing hips forward. Chest lifts up, head falls back for a slight back bend to prepare. Inhaling, come back up, back into child's pose. This time arms come alongside you. Find a nice roundness in the spine. After every back bend, you want to do a counter pose. So keep that in mind as you go throughout your practice, whether in class, at home, or in our practice today. Come back up to the knees. This time tucking toes under, grab onto your heels. Again, lift the heart up, hips press forward, neck falls back, head falls back. As you exhaling, finding micro movements to deepen the back bend. Inhale, come back up, back to child's pose. Round the spine. Rest for just a moment. Coming up one more time, maybe keeping the toes untucked. Grab onto your heels again, pressing hips forward, chest lifts, head falls back. Find the deepest version of your camel for the day. Keep working, keep breathing. Bringing hands to heart center, come back up, back to child's pose. Relax, find stillness here. Finding the energy in your resting poses. And taking hands back out in front. Tuck the toes, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Hop, walk, float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sinking weight down deep, so low that you can drop to the ground for easy boat pose. Grabbing hands behind the thighs. Lifting the heart up toward the sky. Toes pointing straight out in front. Then coming into a full Navasana if you feel led to. Releasing the legs, hands out at the sides, heart lifts, toes lift, using the core to balance yourself strong. Heart stays lifted. Then drop the feet down to the ground, going into a wide split. Setting up legs wide, and then begin to walk the hands out in front of you, finding your best depth, your best edge, flexing toes toward your face. After a few breaths, sinking a little bit deeper, find a new depth again. Using the exhale to find these micro movements, to find a little more surrender in this pose. Walking hands back up towards your center. Legs come out in front of you and lay down on your back. We'll set up for bridge pose. Heels come close to the body. Lifting hips up high, interlace your fingers below the body, shoulders working down and away from the head. Lift your hips up, making sure knees are in line with the hips as well. Great job. Lower your hips back down to the ground, rocking knees from side to side like windshield wipers. Relaxing the spine. Setting up again, lift the hips back up. Again, interlace the fingers below the body. Shoulders work down, away from the ears, and inward toward one another. Maybe moving the feet a little closer toward your sit bones. to lift a little more into a back bend. Drop the hips back down again, rocking knees from side to side. And before you can talk yourself out of it, one more bridge or wheel if you prefer. If you do take the hands to the ground, remember to press up strong, keeping knees again in line with the hips. Lift the hips up high, allow the heart to move away from your heels. If you do decide to take wheel, remembering to tuck your chin before coming back down to earth. Wherever you are coming back down, bring your knees back into your chest, pull them close. And coming into happy baby, grabbing onto both feet, allowing the knees to fall to the outsides of the body. Maybe rocking back and forth. Keeping skull through sacrum on the ground, maybe spreading the legs out. Nice job. Coming back to center, knees come back into your chest. Extend left leg out on the mat, right knee crosses over the body for a twist, keeping the shoulders glued to the ground and head and belly working the opposite direction of your knee. Maybe closing the eyes, slowing the breath down a little. Preparing yourself for your final resting posture. Coming back to center, knees come back into your chest, pull them close. Before extending right leg out on the mat, left knee crosses over. Again, keeping both shoulders glued to the mat, turning head and belly the opposite direction of your knee. Letting go. Finding strength and energy in even the restful postures. These restorative places in our practice. Come back to center, knees back into the chest one final time. Hold them close. Then extending legs out long. Hands fall down to the sides, palms up. Release the toes out to the sides. Find your final resting posture. Taking a few final inhales. And exhale. Shavasana. Slowly start to come back to the body. Maybe beginning to move fingers and toes. Rolling onto your right side, curling up for just a moment. Resting, reawakening the body, the mind. Then coming back up to your seat. Hands place palms together at your heart center, acknowledging your practice. Bow. Namaste.